Okay, good morning everyone. So we're going to learn about Maya today. So we're going to cover the interface, including the menus and then shelves, status bar and then tools. Over to the right side, we are having the layers. Okay, currently we cannot see the display layers. So as soon as we're going to create the layers, so we can see it by creating the object, right? So we'll start it. So these are the my menus. Okay, so these are the pull down menus. So we are having the different menus starting from the file. As in the other softwares we are also having the file and then edit options. So according to Maya we are having the file, edit, create, select, modify. Okay, so these are the things. And then the bottom of this menus we are having the status bar, and then below it we are having the shelf completely over here, and then we are having the different shelves also, so including different options for the different shelves. So suppose you are getting to the poly modeling and then curves, getting to the sculpting or the rigging, so we can switch it from back and forth. And then on the left hand side we can have the tools like quick selection tool and then move tool, rotate tool, with other basics tools which we'll be using in Maya. And then the viewport, are you going to use your viewport? So currently we are having the perspective, so you can switch it by pressing the spacebar, and then you can get into this four kind of views, right? And the right hand side, pressing Control A. While pressing Control A, you can switch from channel box to attribute editor, right class? Okay. And then bottom we are having the kind of shelf, not the shelf but a time slider, which is going to tell you about the range of the animation, the amount of frames you need to give for the animation. You can increase or decrease the range, and then you can also give the numbers over here. And then on the right hand corner we are having the kind of settings, right? But before starting Maya or before starting any kind of software, we need to get into the certain preferences, right? So before starting or before creating anything, we need to get into the preferences of the software. Okay, so it will be easier for us. Like for example, if we get into this Windows and then setting preferences, we're having the preferences menu. So after getting into the preferences menu, there are lots of things over here. You can see that the common thing in every software which we find out, that is undo. Okay, the history thing. So suppose you are creating anything, creating a model, and by mistake you are doing, by mistake you have done some kind of mistakes. Okay, you need to undo it. So simply what we can do, we can infinite it. So as many times we can undo the settings. Suppose if I give you the example, currently it is in finite, that means we can only undo till 50 times. Undo, control Z, control Z, 50 times. So what we're going to do, we're going to click it infinite, so as many times you can undo, right? And then we can save the settings also. And then getting to the settings, we can convert the unit world coordinate system according to the axis y z. Okay, and then working unit will be in the centimeter. Whatever the objects you're creating in Maya, it should be in centimeters, millimeters, and then inches. Okay, these are the things, and then we can save it, right? Now the same thing we can open it by getting to the bottom right corner by clicking on this icon, running man kind of thing, and then there is a setting, gearbox. The same thing you can find out, right? Now the first thing is getting friendly with the user interface is pressing the control space bar will going to maximize the viewport, as we can see it over here. And then pressing again the control space bar, we can see that we can having the all the menus shells back, right? And then pressing spacebar will going to give you the complete focus mode on the perspective, and then again pressing it spacebar, you will going to get back to your all four views. So pressing one time, and then the thing is you need to move your mouse also. Suppose we need to focus on top view, so the mouse will be on the top view. This is the top view, and then pressing the spacebar, this is the top view, this is the front view, and this is the side view. You can also see by, you can also find out by seeing over here that this is side and then front and then top and then perspective view. So pressing on the perspective view, we can see that this is the perspective view. And then how you're going to orient the object, while pressing the alt and then left click, you can rotate your viewport also. Currently I do not have any kind of object, so pressing alt and then left click, you can orient, you can rotate the object. Okay, and then pressing the same alt and middle mouse, you can pan the grid, and then pressing the alt again, right click, you can zoom in, zoom out. Same thing can be done for the zooming in, zoom out while scrolling. Okay, scrolling the wheel button also. And then Now, the important thing is before creating any object, right, class? So before creating any object, we need to create a project window. Why we need to create the project window? Because while working in Maya, you will be having a model. Suppose this is a model, a cube. This cube must be having a kind of texture, and then this texture will be getting a kind of lit also. You will going to render it by creating the rights, and then cameras, okay, each and everything. So there will be huge files, and then at the end you will be rendering this kind of box, okay, if it's including any kind of animation also. So there will be huge things, right? So saving a file, creating a file, and then saving the file, and then you will be saving the file, but the each and every thing should be separated in different folders. So if example, if I get into this file and then save the file, simply we need to create a project window also, but currently the project window is in a directory of documents. So how does it work? We need to see it. The path is documents and then Maya, okay, whatever the software you have installed. So you need to get into this Maya folder and then projects, right? So the default project says, okay, these are the different folders which you will going to generate, which not you will going to generate, but the Maya will going to generate for you, okay, automatically by creating the window project. So this is for the asset autosave and then cache, clips, data, so different folders. So we're going to save the file. The file will be getting saved in the scenes over here, and then the texture which you will going to apply in future will be getting saved in the source images. And then at the end, if you're rendering something, you're getting the some kind of image sequences for the animation. So it will be getting saved in the images over here. So this will be the folder. So in the same way, if I save the file 0 1, okay, I always use this 0 1, so it is easier to find out the file extensions. And then 0 1, the directory is same, the default from the Maya, and then save it, right? So now we are getting the file that is over here in the scene. So this is the file. Now this is the file saved. Suppose if you want to save the file applied with the textures, okay, so the textures will be getting saved over here also. But before applying the texture, you need to download from the internet, and then you are downloading the texture from the internet, and then all the textures should be placed in the source images. So next time when you will going to open your file, so you will not going to only see the model but with the textures also. So sometimes there is a kind of issue which students are facing, that we are opening the model, we are not able to see the texture because the directory is not single directory, because the textures are saved on the downloads folder and the files are saved in some other drive, right? So this is the thing. So before creating any kind of object, before creating any model or something, we need to do, we need simply get into the file. After getting into the file, we need to create the project window. So this is the important thing. And the best thing of this will be that you can also save your project window on your directory, and then you can export complete your work in a pen drive, or you are shifting from one workstation to the other workstation. So what we can do, we can completely project copy this project and then paste the complete project, rather than copying each and every textures or the data or anything, right, class? So current project is default, as I told you that it will be in the document. So what we need to do, we need to create a new, simply creating on the new thing, and then current project is new project. So we're going to name it as basic project, okay, and then the location will be something else. So we can create any kind of location, my computer, and then D drive, and then we can create a kind of project. So this will be for the Maya, and then select it, that's it. So simply we are having the current project, that is basic project, okay, folder name is, and the location is D Maya. All these folders will going to get automatically connected to that your folder, right? So we can see over here, getting to the drives Maya, you can click over here Maya, this is the basic project. So this is the basic project. Under the basic project, we are having so many folders. So now when you are going to save the next time your file, suppose this is the same file, and then Control S. So directly it says, okay, I will going to save it over here. I think we need to Control Shift S, save it. Now you can see my basic project, and then 0 1. So 0 1 and then save as, done. So you can check it out. Getting to the drive, my folder, okay, basic project, and then in the sales. So we're having this file. So this way you can generate your files and then you can save it. Now next thing is the set project. What about the set project? Suppose This is the same thing you have created, right? So creating this project, and then you're shifting this project to the other drive, right? So what I'll do, I'll copy this thing, Maya, completely. Okay. uh, Copy it to the other drive. Suppose we are getting into this drive and then paste it. Okay, we are having it. So same thing is over here. Okay, so we can delete from the previous drive. I can delete it now. So we need to open the file. So it says, okay, now it is in getting kind of confusion for the Maya. Okay, it cannot search for the same thing. It is searching for the D drive, but what I've done, I have copied the same thing in the E drive. So if I'm creating once more some other thing and then I'm saving the object, it says, okay, where I need to save it, don't know. So again, what we need to do, we will not going to create the project already created, but we need to set the project which was created by you into this E drive, right? So what are we going to do? Get into the file, set project, and then we're going to get into the E drive. So this is the folder, okay, and then set it. Now there one window pop-up gives you that this is kind of notification from Maya which says that I cannot find the location which you have created because there is a problem. The problem is simple. The folder which I've created over here, this folder also contains a subfolder which says a basic project. So the Maya always need to find out that rather than clicking on the main folder, you need to select the subfolder which will going to make a kind of access for the all the folders in a single click, right? So what we need to do, we need to get into the file and then we need to set project and then drive E Maya and then this basic project. So as soon as you are clicking on this basic project, so Maya should access easily all these folders. So single folder, this folder, and then set it. Now we are not having that dialog box. Now you save it, this file. Okay, I'll click Control D, duplicate this thing, same thing. Now we need to save this file. So Control Shift S or simple Control S. We can see now the directory says that I'm in the E and then you can save it by 02. So this is the thing. So this is the important thing for the project window and the set project. So it is a kind of good choice. So always save your project window, okay, project, and then if you're changing from one drive or one system to the other system, okay, and then you can set your project. That's it. Okay. So now moving to the menus. So we are having the different menus: file, edit, create, something, right? So currently I think I'm on the FX. Okay, so this is a kind of pull down menus which says if you want to get into the modeling, if you want to model something, you need to choose the modeling menu. So all the tools will be getting in front of you: mesh, edit mesh related to the modeling. And then if you want to get into the rigging part, okay, you have created the character, now you need to do the kind of skeleton system. Okay, you need to do the rig part, so we are in the skeleton system. And then same for the animation, same for the effect. So this way you can change it. Now the shortcut for changing is F2 for the same modeling, F3 you can see we're getting to the rigging, and then for the animation, and then for the effects, that's it. So F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, right? So we can get into the same thing. So these are the menus, and then this is the status bar. The same thing we are getting in the status bar also, that if you want to create the new file, so this is for the creating the new file and then open the file, right? So these are the shortcuts over here, and then undo, redo, and then these are the kind of snapping things. Okay, so if you want to snap something, suppose you have created a cube, you need to snap a cube from one cube to the other cube, or from plane to the cube, right? So these are the snapping option, and then live, and then rendering settings, and then shelves, right? So what I'll do, I'll create a cube. So I've created the cube now. So the thing is that how you're going to create a cube, either you can get into this polygon, create polygon primitives. So polygon primitives, simple primitives, sphere, cube, cylinder, basic shape, known as primitives, polygon primitives. And then either you can get into the shift and then cube, shift, right click, we're getting something, cube, sphere, disk. So these are the default primitives we are getting. Either you can click shift, or either you can get into the create menu and then polygon primitives. That's it. So what I'll do, I always used to get into the shift, pressing shift and then right click. So I'm creating a cube and then we are scrolling it. So the shortcut, if you want to focus this object in front of you, you can simply press F. It will going to give you the kind of frame selection. And then if you're having multiple objects, suppose if I control D is for the duplicate, control D, then you can move it into the Z axis. Now suppose if I move it outside of this frame, right, and then I am selecting this object and pressing F. Now I need to see the other object also. So simply what you need to do, you need to frame all the selection. So framing all the selection, you need to press A will going to give you all the objects in the scene, right? So now if I want to press F, so we can frame the selection. Pressing A again, we can frame the selection. Okay. So deleting the object, simply delete it by the keyboard. Okay, we're going to show you the shortcut for deleting rather than using your keyboard shortcut. We're going to create with the script also, the feature. So selecting this object, as soon as I'm selecting the object, you can see in the left hand side we are getting the outliner also. We are selecting the object is getting selected, the name of the object is PQ1. So this PQ1 says that I'm poly Q1, right? Now if I create one more object, shift right click and then Q. So we are getting the PQ2 on the middle of that object. So whatever the objects you're creating, whether it is sphere, it is disk, plane, whatever. Suppose I create a sphere, so it will be automatically in the center only. You can move it and then simply from the outliner we can delete it. So in the outliner it says perspective, top, front, side. So these are the default four cameras by which we will be able to see our object. Okay, these are the viewports, we cannot delete it, but we can create more cameras. So these are the cameras: perspective, top, front, side. Now we can see that the cube which you have created over here, that is not faded, but the text which is written over here, that is perspective, top, front, side, it is kind of faded. That means it is hidden, the cameras are hidden. So what we can do, selecting all the things and then pressing shift H, we're going to unfade all the text, and then you can see we're having the cameras. If I get into this, shift A, and then you can see this is the camera for the perspective, right? And then same thing, so this is the camera for the perspective, and this is for the side, this is for the front, right, side, that is very small, and then for the top, right? So we can see this is in the y-axis because this is from the top, right? So these are the default cameras. Okay, so we can select it and then again press H, shift H for unhiding, H for hiding. Same thing we can repeat for this thing also. Suppose this is the object, we need to hide it. Selecting the object either from the viewport, either from the outliner. Pressing H, we can hide it. And then pressing shift H will not going to give you the object back. So for bringing it back, you at least need to select the node, this node. Okay, so you need to select it and then press H. Okay, so selecting the box H and then object is selected, pressing the H again. So if you're pressing the shift H or H, doesn't seems to be different operation, it's the same kind of thing. Sometimes it do work because now we are using the Maya 2023. Before earlier version we need to press shift H. So now as the software is getting updated, we are getting the tools updated also, a kind of friendly nature. So this is the cube. Now selecting the cube, we can see as soon as I'm selecting the object on the right hand side, we are getting the channel box also. So this is known as the channel box. Now what does channels mean? Channel means you are selecting an object, you have created the object, whatever the geometry you are having in the scene, this is the scene. So we are having the translation in the rotation, scaling, and then visibility. Now we are having the translation, let's say the translation X, translation Y, translation Z, and then same for the rotation X, Y, Z, scaling, and then visibility. So translation X is selecting the object, you need to translate object into the x direction, that is in the y, and then over here same for the top view, and then moving to the negative, and then to the negative. Okay, you can see over here clearly on the right hand side -3 and then +3. Directly we can give the values also. Suppose we need to reset it to the initial stage, selecting all the things single by this and then press 0. So the object is in the center. Same way, if you want to rotate in the Y, simply select it, press middle mouse and then move your mouse to the right hand side, to the left hand side. Or if you want to give the value, that will be the 45-degree, done. So the object is in the 45-degree. Now the rotation, we can rotate the object in the Z axis, we can rotate the object in the X axis. Again clicking and then dragging 0. So either you can give the accurate number over here, the accurate value, the degree, or either you can precisely rotate it while selecting this and then moving your mouse. Simply select the object, click, single click, and then move your mouse back to the viewport. Middle mouse to the right side, to the left side. That's it. Okay, you don't have to click anywhere else. Suppose click it to the right, to the left. Middle mouse only, no left, no right. That's it. And then reset it 0. So same for the rotation and the scaling. Suppose if you get it in the scaling, so we are scaling the object in the y-axis. So you need to move your mouse to the top. This is little confusing because we are scaling the object into the y-axis. So selecting the object, click on the scaling y and then to the y-axis, and then scaling to the z, left right for the scale x, left right, right. Now there is one thing, when you are giving the value over here 0, which we shouldn't give it. So this means the object which you have selected, the object which was created, the polycube, the value was something else. The value was 1, but I have given 0. So 0 means nothing. Okay, so we will not be able to see it. So the default value over here is 1. Okay, same thing for the 3ds Max also. If you are working in 3ds Max also, you are creating the geometry. So the value default for the scaling will be 100, right? So the default value over here will be 1, and it should always be 1. So if you are having confusion, though you have created the object and you are not able to see, either the object is hidden, either the scaling is 0. That's it. The last thing in the channel box is visibility. You have created the object. After creating the object, you can click over here in the visibility option, that this is a visibility, means you can see the object same as we were hiding it before by clicking the edge and then unhiding it by pressing the edge. Visibility, clicking over here and then pressing 0, 0, 1, because my works on the binary language. 0 will going to hide the object, done, hidden. Again you need to select from this outliner and then click 1 over here and then press enter. So then you can get the object back. Now from where we are getting this outliner, suppose if you are not able to see it, we can tear it out from this menu also. So if you want to see this outliner, again if I cross it out, you need to get into the windows and then outliner. So getting into the windows, you're going to see the outliner and then same things, right? So it is a kind of easier thing. Like in Photoshop also, we are creating the layers, so we can see how many layers are there independently, right? So in the same way, if you want to see any object which is missing or something which is hidden from you, you can simply get into the windows and then clicking on the outline, you can see, okay, these are the objects, but we are not able to see it. So there is something, maybe you have hidden or the scaling is less than 1. Okay, next thing is, you simply select it, you're getting this green lines, okay, which means the object is selected. Now if I select it and then control D, move it over here. Now we need to select the both object, multiple objects. Okay, if I select it one more time and then move it over here, right? Now we can see I'm creating a kind of marquee selection. Click and then drag it over here. We can see that we are getting the green lines as a wireframe and then white. Okay, because when we are dragging our mouse, the mouse is selecting the first object. Suppose click and then shift click. The object which is selected in the first and then the object which is selected in the second, okay, which will be green. So that means this object is getting selected at the last. Okay, this is the only thing, nothing more. So deleting. In the same way, if I create the sphere also, shift right click and then sphere. So this is the sphere. So we can say alt and then left click, we can rotate our view, and then selecting the object, we can see this object is getting selected, and then in the middle we are getting the kind of arrows over here. The top arrows which says we can move it, as I earlier told you, moving to the y-axis, moving to the x-axis and then z-axis. So this is known as the gizmo move tool. Okay, So this is a move tool. Pressing W will going to give you the move tool. Pressing E will going to give you the rotation tool. Pressing R will going to give you the scaling tool. So if you want to scale it in the x-axis, scale it, scale it, scale it, right? And then pressing Ctrl Z, or either you can press Z also, Z, 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 Z key. And pressing E, rotation in the Z, in the Y, and then undo, or either you can give the value 0. Okay, done. Okay, so you're having this object, and then we're going to complete these menus. So these are the tools: quick selection, lasso selection, paint selection, move, rotation, and then scaling. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tools. So first tool says you're selecting the object, but you're selecting a kind of with the quick select, right? Select tool. So it says the shortcut is Q. Over here you can find out that there is a Q written. So simply selecting it, but you can see the object is getting selected. The same thing can be done with the move tool also, but the difference will be simple, that you're getting the move tool over here, the gizmo over here, but in the quick select tool, in the select tool, we are not getting a gizmo. So that means you can simply select it. That's it. The difference I'll tell you. Suppose if you are selecting the vertices over here, I'll tell you what is it all about. So all the vertex are getting selected, and then you're pressing the W move tool. Now you need to select the other vertex. Suppose this is the vertex which is selected, this is the vertex which is selected. Now there is multiple vertex over here. So multiple vertex means the vertex are very huge. Okay, the mesh is very huge, so n number of vertex. Now when you're selecting it, you can see the gizmo is coming in between. So simply what we can do for selecting it, we can get to the select tool, and then the gizmo is away, that is hidden, and then simply we can select it, right? So only this much of difference. So this is the select tool, and then the lasso tool. So lasso tool says if you want to select anything, we can create a kind of lasso tool over here, as we are having the Photoshop. So now moving more into the lasso tools, how does it work for the preferences for the vertex, the how many vertex you need to select it. So every geometry which you are creating with the help of this poly primitives or the polygon, you're selecting the object, right click. As soon as you're clicking on this object, right click, you're getting the elements over here: edge, vertex, face, and then object mode. So object mode says I'm in the object mode, you can move me completely, but if you want to move the vertex only, you can get into the components of the object. So components, selecting the vertex over here and then moving it, and then selecting the vertex over here, moving it, and then same for the edges, you are selecting the edges, you can move it. Same for the faces. So these are the faces. So what are faces, vertex, edges? Suppose this is a vertex, the point in a 3D space, right? In a 3D space known as the vertex, and then one more vertex over here, one more vertex over here, one more vertex over here. So one vertex is connected to the other vertex known as edge. This is the vertex, and then one more vertex connected to this edge, one more, same edge, one more, same edge, and then these are the vertex over here, right? But when you are connecting four all these four points, forming an edge, and then creating a face over here. So over here also, this is simple, that this vertex is getting connected to this vertex is connected to this, and then same. And then you can see over here that this is a face. Okay, simple face. So many vertex and faces are over here, right? So if you want to find out how many vertex or faces are here, simply you can get into the display, and then heads up display, and then poly count. Okay, you need to count the polygon. So vertex are 382, the edges are 780, the faces are 400, and then tries. What are tries and then UVs? We're going to come this into the future. Okay, so this is the thing. And then if you want to undo it, simple Control Z or simple Z, we can undo. No. Coming to the lasso tool, this was done with the gizmo move tool. Coming to the lasso tool, it says okay, you are in the component. Which component? You need to select it. Nothing is getting selected. That means you need to press right click on the object, or other way also, outside of the object, but the object should be selected. So we are getting to the vertex. Now the vertex are updated over here, you can see. Right click on the edges, edges are getting updated. So as soon as you're clicking your cursor and then drawing on top of it, you're selecting the edges. Getting to the vertex, drawing the painting kind of thing, you're selecting the vertices. It's same for the faces, selecting the faces. So this is the thing. Now you need to select multiple things. Suppose you need to select the top also, you need to select the bottom also, but at the same time it cannot be done. So simply you can press the constraint key, that is the shift key, and then shift, pressing the shift and then clicking and dragging. And then if you are getting to the other component for the vertex, that will be gone. Okay, so at the single time you can select either vertex or either edges or faces, right? So select tool and then lasso tool, paint selection. So paint selection is also kind of painting thing. So we are getting a kind of circle in over here. This is known as the brush. Right click vertex, so we are painting it, we are selecting it, but the thing is that the brush is very big. So for decreasing or increasing the size of this brush, simply press B and then middle mouse to the right side, to the left side. When increasing or decreasing the radius of the brush, pressing the B to the right side, to the left side. So this way. So if I'll get into the faces, we can see. See, Maya is very smart. With the help of that lasso tool, we have selected all those faces. Now updated with this thing also, right? And then coming to the vertex, already we are having it. So pressing Ctrl, we're going to deselect it. Pressing Shift, we're going to select it. Same for the edges also. Control, Control, Control on top of it, and then increase the size of the brush. Control, everything is deselected. Now decrease the size of the brush by pressing B to the left side, right? Either you can press the middle mouse also, either you can press the left mouse also, but not the right mouse, right? So pressing B, left, and then paint it, vertex, paint it. Okay. So select tool, lasso tool, paint selection, and then this is same for the move tool and the rotation, scaling. Now next thing is you've created this object. Now if you are double clicking on any of these tools, suppose this is the select tool, double click on it, you're getting the tool setting of it, right? So it says you need to select it. Okay, by mistake if you will are dragging, clicking and dragging, and then it is getting a kind of alignment over here, you can see it is getting a kind of sticky thing over here, so it is getting aligned, and then you can also adjust your viewport. Okay, otherwise you can click and drag to tear it out that menu. So double click, we can reset the tool. Suppose one of your friend is working on your system and then he is using some kind of other settings, so always have a good habit of resetting the tool. Close it, double click, we are getting the tool setting of the lasso. Double click, we are getting the tool setting of the move tool. So in the same way, select tool, it says selection type will be marquee or the camera based. Okay, so marquee tool says okay, this is the selection we're getting, right? And then selecting it. Camera based means you're selecting it, okay, but it will be according to the camera. I'll complete this tool in future class. Okay, and then dragging, simply we are dragging it, and then we are getting this kind of gizmo also. Okay, so these are the different tools over here. Now moving to the soft selection type. Now what we understand by soft selection, reset it, close it, double click and then reset. Now coming to the soft selection, we are getting this soft select tool over here, which says as soon as you are going to enable this, there is a fall of radius and then the color kind of thing. So we are selecting a vertex. Now as soon as we are getting from object to the vertex mode, you can see the object is getting kind of yellowish thing. So if I check it off, now you can see okay, object is selected. Okay, again if I select it, we are getting different kind of fall of radius for this according to this color. So I think it is covering something or not. Okay, so what I'll do, it says currently the fall of radius is completely for the yellow. That means if you are selecting it and then if you want to move it, you can move this object completely, but some of the vertex are getting this kind of shape at the bottom, you can see it. So what we need to do, the shortcut for this will be B, simple B. So I'll select this object and then pressing B, turn it off, turn it on. The soft selection over here, it can says that selecting the one vertex, pressing the B, turn it off, you can move a single vertex, moving the single vertex, and then selecting the vertex, pressing the B, and then again pressing the B, but this time you're not going to release your B key. Click the mouse, left click, and then towards the left drag your mouse. See, you're getting that brush. So again press the B, off, on it. Now press the B, do not release the B key, and then moving your mouse towards the right side, and then to the left side. So moving your mouse to the right side, so this is the kind of brush tool we are having, and then you can select any kind of vertex, okay, any vertex, and then you can move it. So this is the kind of soft selection we are having. So soft selection says we're going to collect the bunch of vertices, and then you can move any of the direction in a linear way, right? You can select this vertex, you can select this vertex. Okay, so this is the kind of shape we are creating. Now turn it off by pressing B. Now simple, back to the default. Okay, so this is the soft selection tool. So this is used for creating the geometry also. Suppose if you want to create something, suppose this is a plane, and then I'll scale the plane over here, right, and then selecting it to the top, moving this plane to the top. So you can see if I click over here and then press B, you're getting the fall of radius over here, so the number of vertex are getting selected, and then you can give a geometry kind of look. Okay, so this is the look we are getting. One thing more, you're having the grid in the viewport. So this is the grid over here. So this is a kind of mark or a landmark where the model is. Okay, so it will be easier for you to find out. The model will be always on the grid. So this is in millimeter or centimeter, I don't know. So if you need to find out, you can get into the setting as I told you before also, settings in centimeter. So each and every part over here that is in the centimeter. Suppose if I delete this part, hit the cube again, and then this cube is by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Okay, because it is getting fixed in this grid. Okay, so this grid is by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Okay, and then how many things we are having, how many parts we are having for this? 1 2 3 5, at least 10 over here, 10 over here. So 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter, 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter. So if you want to scale this object by 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter, you can scale it in this way. That's it. So this object is now accurately 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter. Okay, okay. So if you're creating a cube, so when you're creating the cube, after completing this thing, we are moving to the right hand side. That we are having the channel boxes. Below the channel boxes, we are having the kind of shape and then inputs. So this is related to the attributes of this object. If you're selecting this object, you can see over here that polycube one. As soon as you're clicking on this thing, it says the first thing is height line. This is the newly feature updated in this Maya. Baseline height, that is 0. So simply clicking and then clicking your mouse and then dragging to the left side, -1, the object will be above the grid, below the grid, that's it. Okay, and then again clicking over here. Now the height of the object, the width of the object, the depth of the object. Okay, so I need a depth will be this much, the height will be this much, and width will be this much. So this is the thing, and then subdivisions width. Now what does this mean? Subdivision width means these are the edges. Okay, so we need to subdivide. Suppose this is the face, we need to subdivide into 2 or 3. So simply what we can do, polycube, and then subdivision width, we need to increase it 1 2 3. Okay, so we have divided into 4, so we are having 1 2 3 and then 4. So we are having subdivision over here. So this is known as the subdivision. We are subdividing one face into the 4. Same for the height, same for the depth, right? And then if you want to modify your geometry, you can modify your geometry. So whatever the objects you are creating in Maya, this is cube, so we are getting related to the cube. Okay, we are creating a sphere, we are creating the attribute related to the sphere. So baseline, which will be the common for all the primitives, moving to the base above, and then radius, the size of it, and then subdivisions axis, we are increasing, we are decreasing, and then if you are decreasing completely, what you are getting this shape. Okay, so always generate a good habit of from the lower number only. Suppose if you want to create a kind of sphere. So I think 14 by 14 or by 12 by 12 is a good idea, because then you will going to mold it more and more into the detail. Excuse me. And then over here we're getting the, you can see that this is in the perspective, and then back to the four views, and then clicking over here you can change your views from this front and then perspective only. That's it. So this is the front view. This object is getting viewed from the front. This object is getting viewed from the perspective. So spacebar maximizing it, spacebar maximizing it, and then clicking over here you're getting the outline also. So you need to reset it. Simply click on this thing, and then clicking this object channel box attribute, and then getting to the display layer. So this thing is important little, that we can create our layers also. So simply clicking on this thing we can generate the layers, but the object is not assigned on these layers. So the good thing will be, simply you can use, rather than using this option for creating the layers, you can use this option for creating the layers, selecting it and then create on this thing. Now it says automatically this object is assigned on this layer, you can see it. Okay, but if you are using this option, you need to create one more object. So this is the object, you're creating this layer, hide this part, nothing. You need to select it, click it, and then add to the selected object. So now this object is added over here, right? So I think this is useful. And then these two tools are for moving your layers from top to the bottom, bottom to the top. That's it for arranging it. That's it. Okay, so this is all for the tools, for the channels, for the attributes, and then display layers with the viewport. That's it. So we're going to cover the next thing in the next class. Okay, take care.